So, hi everyone. Today we are going to see about Camp 16 Test 4 on the reading passages 3, third reading passage. So, yes, let me go to the passage. Attitude towards artificial intelligence. So, third reading passage is nothing but matching the headings. So we are going to match the headings to the sections A to F. So for this type of questions, we go to the questions directly. You need not read the headings. Mostly the answers will be in the first two lines or last two lines of the passage. So section A is my first question. Artificial intelligence can already predict the future. Police forces are using it to map and where crime is likely to occur. Doctors can use it to predict when a patient is more likely to have a heart attack or a stroke. Researchers are even trying to give AI imagination so it can plan for unexpected consequences. Many decisions in our lives require a good forecast, and AI is almost always better at forecasting than we are. Yet, for all these technological advances, we still seem to deeply lack confidence in AI predictions. Recent cases show that people don't like relying on AI and prefer to trust human experts, even if these experts are wrong. If we want AI to really benefit people, we need to find a way to get people to trust it. To do that, we need to understand why people are so reluctant to trust AI in the first place. So, as far as we read, what do we understand is it is used to predict the future, but people doesn't create a trust over it. Hence, they depend on humans experts. So, yeah. So, see the list of headings: increasing divergence of attitudes towards AI, reasons why we have more faith in human judgment, superiority of AI projections over those made by humans. I go with the third option because many decisions requires good forecast and AI is almost a better forecasting than we are. So I go for the third option. It tells about the fields in which AI is used to predict future, and it is clear that AI is almost better at forecasting than we are. So I go with option 3. So next is section B. Take the case of Watson for oncology, one of the technology giant IBM supercomputer programs. Their attempt to promote this program to cancer doctors was a PR disaster. AI promised to deliver top quality recommendations on the treatment of 12 cancers that occurred for 80% of the world's cases. But when doctors first interacted with Watson, they found themselves in a rather difficult situation. On the one hand, if Watson provided guidance about a treatment that coincided with their own opinions, physicians did not see much point in Watson's recommendations. The supercomputer was simply telling them what they already knew, and these recommendations did not change the actual treatment. On the other hand, if Watson generated a recommendation that contradicted the expert's opinion, doctors would typically conclude that Watson wasn't competent and the machine wouldn't be able to explain why its treatment was plausible because its machine learning algorithms were simply too complex to be fully understood by humans. Consequently, this has caused even more suspicion and disbelief and leading many doctors to ignore the seemingly outlandish AI recommendations and stick to their own expertise. So, what do we understand from this passage? So what do we understand from this passage? So Watson is a supercomputer used for oncology. If Watson gives opinion about treatment that doctors already knew, the doctors do not see it with much value. If Watson recommends something opposite of experts' opinion, doctors think Watson is not smart enough. It means they do not want to trust Watson in any way. So what will be the correct option for section B? Widespread distrust of an AI innovation. It's 6. Okay, section A is 3 and section B is 6. Section C. This is just one example of people's lack of confidence in AI and their reluctance to accept what AI has to offer. Trust in other people is often based on our understanding of how others think and having expertise of their reliability. This helps create a psychological feeling of safety. AI, on the other hand, is still fairly new and unfamiliar to most people, even if it can be technically explained, and that's not always the case. AI's decision-making process is usually too difficult for most people to comprehend, and interacting with something we don't understand can cause anxiety and give us a sense that we are losing control. So again, I go to the list of headings. So what I understand from section C, so writer explained we trust in human and more because we understand how others think and our trust on them was right, so we feel safe. But we do not know how much AI and we do not pay them. So I go with option 2. Why we have more faith in human judgment than AI, which is section C. Okay. They give several reasons to trust human than AI. Many people are familiar in many instances actually working. Okay. And section D, feelings about AI run deep. In a recent experiment, people from a range of backgrounds were given various sci-fi films about AI to watch and then asked questions about automation in everyday life. It was found that regardless of whether the film they watched depicted AI in a positive or negative light, simply watching a cinematic vision of our technological future polarized the participants' attitudes. Optimists became more extreme in their enthusiasm for AI, and skeptics became even more guarded. This suggests people use relevant evidence about AI in a biased manner to support their existing attitudes. A deep-rooted human tendency known as confirmation bias, as AI is represented more and more in media and entertainment, it could lead to a society split between those who benefit from AI and those who reject it. More pertinently, refusing to accept the advantages offered by AI could place a large group of people at a serious disadvantage. So let me analyze the topics that is suitable for this. So here they insist the point, AI is more and more in media and entertainment. It could lead to a society split between those who get benefited because of this and those who get rejected because it is an AI. So there is an increasing divergence of attitudes between the people on AI. So I go with option I. This is for your section D. Understand? And next is section E. Fortunately, we already have some ideas about how to improve trust in AI. Simply having previous experience with AI can significantly improve people's opinions about the technology, as was found in the study mentioned above. Evidence also suggests the more you use other technologies such as the internet, the more you trust them. Another solution may be to reveal more about the algorithm which AI uses and the purpose they serve. Several high-profile social media companies and online marketplaces already released transparency reports about government requests and surveillance disclosures. A similar practice for AI could help people have a better understanding of the way algorithmic decisions are made. So again, I go to the list of topics that is suitable for section E. So what we learned is showing more about how algorithms work and for what they work will improve the trust in AI, isn't it? So I go with option 7, encouraging openness about how AI functions. So next is research suggests that allowing people some control over AI decision making could also improve trust and enable AI to learn from human experience. For example, one study showed that when people were allowed the freedom to slightly modify an algorithm, they felt more satisfied with its decisions, more likely to believe it was superior, and more likely to use it in the future. We don't need to understand the intricate inner workings of AI systems, but if people are given a degree of responsibility of how they are implemented, they will be more willing to accept AI into their lives. So, what do we understand from this passage? Allowing people's control over AI decision making could also improve the trust, isn't it? So I go with advantages of involving users in AI process. That is section F. So like this, we go match the headings. And in case of your MCQs, again 33 to 35, what is the writer doing in section A? So section A, we saw like more of predicting the future, right? It's more of predicting the future, and also it highlights the existing problem. It's a lack of confidence in AI prediction. So the answer is C. According to section C, why might some people be reluctant to accept AI? So the reason why they accept AI in section C, its complexity. So see these lines. Embracing AI failures receive a disproportionate amount of media attention, emphasizing the message that we cannot rely on technology. Machine learning is not a foolproof because the humans who design it aren't. So a sense of losing control is the disadvantage that the writer talked about. Complexity is difficult to comprehend. Comprehend in the sense is to understand. So AI's decision making process is usually too difficult for people to comprehend. Comprehend is to understand. So what will be the correct option now? Yes. Its complexity makes them feel that they are at advantage, disadvantage. What does the writer say about the media in section C of the text? So again, I read that line right. Disproportionate amount of media attention emphasizing the message that we cannot rely on technology. So it leads the public to be mistrust of AI. It's option A. So next is going to be yes or no not given. Subjective depictions of AI in sci-fi films make people, sci-fi films is nothing but scientific films, make people change their opinions about automation. So again, I go with the word sci-fi films. So see this paragraph D. What do you understand? Optimists became more extreme in their enthusiasm for AI and skeptics became even more guarded. So it means people who favor AI start favoring more, while who doubt AI become stronger in their opinion. Isn't it? That is what I'm able to understand. So subjective depictions make people change their opinions about automation, which is no. No, they are sticking to their opinions strongly. They didn't change their opinions, which means contradicts the information. Hence, it's no. Portraits of AI in media and entertainment are likely to become more positive. So, media and entertainment focusing the AI in a positive way. So, there is a discussion regarding this in passage D, like media and entertainment, but they didn't say whether it is positive or negative. Hence, it's not given. Rejection of possibilities of AI may have a negative effect on many people's lives. So again, I go to the passage. So see section D. Refusing to accept the advantages offered by AI could place a large group of people at a serious disadvantage. So, which means it's true. Hence, the answer is yes. Familiarity with AI has little impact on people's attitudes to the technology. So, again, I go to the passage. See section E. So simply having previous experience with AI can significantly improve people's opinions about the technology. So evidence suggests more the use of technology such as internet, the more you trust them. So what does this mean? The given lines, these lines, writer said previous experience with AI has significantly improved people's opinion about technology. So here they say there is only little impact about people's attitudes on the technology, which means it's contradiction. So it's no. AI application which users are able to modify or more likely to gain consumer approval. So they gain consumer approval. AI apps are used to modify or more likely to gain consumer approval. So again, I go to the passage. So see this. AI's decision making could also improve trust and enable AI to learn from human experience. When people are allowed the freedom to slightly modify, they felt more satisfied with its decisions. So when people are allowed the freedom to slightly modify an algorithm, they felt more satisfied with the decision. So what is there in the question? So AI's apps which users are able to modify are more likely to gain consumer approval, which means yes. Understand? I hope the video was useful. Yes. This, with this, we'll end up the session here. Thank you.